All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are cracking the code on one of the biggest puzzles in modern medicine, how to get those revolutionary AI medical devices to patients in Europe. There's a new blueprint out there for navigating this incredibly complex world, and trust me, it completely changes the game. So let's dive right in.
I mean, think about it. Artificial intelligence is already transforming healthcare in ways that feel like science fiction. We're talking about diagnostic software that can spot things on a CT scan that a human radiologist might miss, or algorithms that can actually predict disease. This is a whole new era of medicine. It's more accurate, it's way faster, and it's more personalized than anything we've ever had. The potential here to save lives is just enormous. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. Before any of this incredible life-saving tech can actually help a single person, it has to get through this absolute labyrinth of European regulations. And that is a massive, massive hurdle that can stop brilliant innovations dead in their tracks. So the big question is, how do you get this stuff through the maze?
Okay, so before we get to the solution, you really have to appreciate the scale of the problem here. We're not just talking about one set of rules. No. We're talking about an entire ecosystem of them, and they all converge right on top of these AI devices.
It basically comes down to these four pillars. You've got the Medical Device Regulations, or MDR, which is all about safety. Then there's the new AI Act, which is for making sure the algorithms are trustworthy. Of course, you have GDPR for data privacy. And finally, the European Health Data Space, or EHDS, which is to make sure all these different systems can actually talk to each other. Now, here's the crucial part. These don't exist in their own little bubbles. They form this interlocking regulatory nexus, where a rule for one has a domino effect on all the others.
So, you might be wondering, how have companies traditionally handled this mess? Well, the short answer is poorly. The old way of trying to tackle each rule separately is what we call the fragmentation trap. And for companies that are building whole families of AI products, it is a guaranteed recipe for failure.
Just take a look at the difference here. The traditional way creates these totally separate, siloed systems. You get massive duplication of effort. People doing the same work over and over. You end up with inconsistent evidence across your product line, which, you guessed it, leads to a huge risk of failing your audit. The new modular approach? It's the complete opposite. It's an integrated architecture built on a simple, powerful idea. Create once, use everywhere.
And if you want to see just how painful that old way is, let's look at a real-world scenario. Let's say you need to make one simple update to a single algorithm, an algorithm that's used across 8 different devices. Well, with that fragmented approach, you're updating documentation for every single regulation, for every single device, one by one. The total time? Get this, a staggering 1,080 hours of work. And even worse, it creates a massive risk for mistakes.
And this is what those mistakes look like to an auditor. This is a real and a very common audit finding. So the company had one risk file for the device's safety and a totally separate one for the AI's risk. Now, they documented the exact same hazard in both files, but came to 2 different conclusions about how risky it was. The result? Bam! The certificate for their entire device family was suspended. That means an 8 to 12-month delay just to fix it. This is the fragmentation trap in action. It's brutal.
So, if the old way is completely broken, what's the solution? Well, it's this beautifully logical, integrated architecture that just flips the entire process on its head. Let's break down how this new blueprint actually works. It all boils down to this one simple but totally revolutionary idea. Create once, use everywhere. Instead of reinventing the wheel and creating complex documentation for every single device, you build it once at a foundational level, and then you just reference it. This isn't just about saving time, folks. It's about guaranteeing absolute consistency.
And this is how it's structured. It's actually genius in its simplicity. It's a 3-tier system. Tier 1 is the platform. Think of this as the universal foundation. This is where all the heavy lifting gets done. The core algorithm validation, the data governance, this applies to all of your devices. Tier 2 is the group. This is where you document a whole family of similar products, like all your radiology workstations, proving they're consistent. And then finally, Tier 3 is the individual device. It only adds the final, unique details, and it just references everything from the tiers above it. See? Simple.
Okay, so that's the theory, right? Sounds good on paper, but what does this actually look like in the real world? This is where this new blueprint delivers some truly game-changing advantages.
Now, check this out. This is where you see the power of something called sampling. The European auditors, they're called notified bodies, they just don't have time to assess every single device you make. So if you can prove that you have a consistent family of devices, they'll only assess one representative device from that group.
And because this modular system proves consistency at the platform level, you can get 15 devices certified and ready for the market by having only 3 assessed. The savings in time and money, they're just immense.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce that makes it all possible. Let's just take one document, the Training Data Quality Report. In the old siloed world, you'd have separate, overlapping documents for each regulation. But here, you create one comprehensive report at that platform level. And that single document provides the evidence you need for the medical device regulation, the II Act, GDPR, and EHDS all at once. Create once, use everywhere. It really is that simple.
So when you pull all of this together, what do you get? This isn't just about passing an audit. This is about building a powerful, sustainable competitive advantage in the whole medtech space.
I mean, just look at the difference this makes to your speed. With a traditional approach, getting a new similar device out to market could take you 18 to 24 months. That's a long time. With the modular approach, because that platform is already validated, you're just adding a thin layer of device-specific info. You can launch that new device in as little as 6 to 9 months. You're not just compliant anymore, you're faster and way more agile than your competition. All right, let's bring it all home. What are the big things you need to remember from all this? First, trying to do compliance in separate silos is a trap. It's a dead end for AI device families. Second, that 3-tier modular architecture, platform, group, and device, is the elegant solution. Third, the create once, use everywhere principle is the engine that drives all of this. It cuts costs and slashes your risk. And finally, and this is the most important part, this integrated model turns regulation from a bottleneck that slows you down into a strategic advantage that actually propels you forward. At the end of the day, this shift is pretty much inevitable. For any company that's serious about innovating with AI in European healthcare, this modular architecture isn't just a good idea, it's essential for survival and success. So that leaves us with one last crucial question. It's not a matter of if you should make this change, but how fast can you do it to lead the market? Thanks for watching The Explainer.